Welcome back. As we went for the break, we were in the Red Bull Racing Company. Like I said, Red Bull needs to make sure that they maintain strong relationships with their suppliers, and the suppliers should be responsive, spontaneous. When a request is made by Red Bull, it should be supplied as quickly as possible. To do that, Red Bull must maintain a good relationship with their suppliers and constantly communicate with them. And also, most importantly, your supply chain has to be reliable. If Red Bull realizes that, look, this car needs to be adjusted and we need to do this change quickly, our supplier needs to provide us with a particular new type of carbonized metal very quickly, then in that case, it should come as soon as possible. They should be able to rely on it. So reliability, responsiveness, and also relationship management are the three key R's that would make a supply chain successful. And while you're at it, please do make sure that you make your supply chain green. In other words, we say, organizations must make sure that throughout their supply chain, not only in their organization, throughout, their operations are environmentally friendly and they reduce the impact on the environment as much as possible. For example, if you take Marks and Spencer, the British fashion retailer, they have ensured that throughout their value chain and throughout their supply chain rather, they have implemented certain technologies that cuts down CO2 emissions by 10,000 tons every year. Moving on, sustainability is another key area of operations management. Sustainability, in other words, is about ensuring long-term success. So it's sometimes mistakenly understood that sustainability is only about investing in green technologies. Green technologies is only one subcomponent of it, but look at it from a more holistic overall viewpoint. Any action done, any activity done in order to ensure long-term success of an organization falls under sustainability. For example, Body Shop sustainable sourcing, paying a fair price to African villagers and their communities, and thereby obtaining the required cocoa in a very ethical way, make sure the suppliers will stick with them for the long term. Amazon, the world's famous online retailer, they provide their employees with meditation rooms, which helps them to relax and calm their mind. Coke, water neutrality, Coca-Cola, they've made sure that their operations have no impact on water or no harmful or detrimental impact on water in the way they obtain it. They in fact even make sure that they do not obtain water from areas where there is lesser water available for the people living in that area. And finally, another perfect example, in fact an epitome of sustainability excellence is actually the Hyatt hotels chain. Last year in Chicago, they implemented a new initiative called Hyatt Earth Project, and in this, they've managed to implement reduced paper usage throughout the world in all their operations, and by this, may I remind you that for a year they are saving more than 2.5 million sheets of paper. Just calculate and think how much of trees they would actually be saving through that. These are all perfect examples of sustainability. So if you are given a question, if you are given a case study, do make sure that you mention how that organization can achieve sustainability, but read the case, apply to the case. Do not try to repeat all these examples. Keep them in mind, take a lesson out of them, and give your own solution to the company. Quality management is another key aspect of operations management. Quality management is making sure that your organization's products and services will always continue to satisfy the customer needs. In other words, that you will be able to meet customer needs through your products all the time. There are 4 C's of quality management: commitment, communication, competence, continuous improvement. Commitment by the senior management and the employees to achieve quality. Continuous improvement, not being satisfied at anything. For example, the Lexus story, the Lexus engineer said, either make the best or I'll not make this car at all. You have competence, you need to make sure your people are trained, and further, you also have this concept of communication. Senior management must communicate all the time the importance of achieving quality. TQM is another sub-concept of quality, total quality management, similar to the 4 C's, but where we say total, the entire organization, quality focused on customer satisfaction, management, driven by the commitment of the senior management. So similar concepts which you can use together if you are writing an answer. There are 4 types of quality costs, but we have internal failure, external failure, as well as prevention and appraisal cost. Prevention cost is the cost that you have to incur to prevent quality problems, investing in new machines, training your people. Cost of appraisal is the money you have to pay in order to check for quality. Cost of inspectors, cost of installing automated control systems. But if you do not incur those two, you will invariably end up with quality problems, which leads to internal failure costs. Internal failure cost is you make a product with quality, however, luckily you noticed it before releasing it to the market. This would include cost of rework, cost of scrap, and finally, the ultimate disaster or the Armageddon in terms of quality, I would say, things like what Toyota experienced in the recent past is where you have external failure cost. You release a product with a quality defect to the market and it comes out in a bad way. The biggest issue, the biggest impact it will have is on your reputation, apart from, of course, warranties and other legal liabilities you would end up paying. And if you want to obtain higher quality, you could go for quality accreditation such as ISO certification and pay a special focus to ISO 14001, the quality standard that identifies how you could achieve green operations, in other words, how you could make your operations more environmentally friendly. And some of the quality tools that we are more comfortable with, as you must be already aware, the 5S, the 5Y by Toyota, asking why this problem exists 5 times, and within those 5 times you would definitely find an answer. And also Six Sigma, that lays a heavy focus on statistical control and to make sure that you don't have variability, and it was mastered by companies such as General Electrics. Some of the most common quality errors that we companies have nowadays: products with defects, billing errors, damaged goods, and even more, late deliveries, etc. And if you take Cadbury, for example, I'm sure it's a delicious product enjoyed by many, maybe mouth-watering as I even mentioned the name. However, in 2008, they had to haul back millions of chocolate bars worldwide due to, as we all know, the contaminated milk problem. And finally, with regard to quality, I would like to say, keep in mind that to measure quality of service organizations, we use ServQual. Go through the ServQual method, be comfortable with it, because you can always apply it to any organization in the retail or service sector, and it especially allows you to measure something which otherwise would not be possible to measure, since we all know services are intangible and invisible. The next area that I wish to discuss with you is managing people. You ask any organization, especially organizations such as Google, started in a garage and today is one of the top companies in the world. You ask them, how did you go from the garage of the owner's or the founder's house right up to the top? How did you do it? They would always say, it's the people. That's why managing employees is a critical function in today's organizations. And we shall discuss this once we are back from a commercial break. Don't go away.